now that we know where your NC code is going to start outputting to, we can take a look at some of the machine settings that you can choose from to get the most out of your S2M and nesting packages. The first of these that we're going to look at, 6-phase nesting. Now you've probably heard me say that a few times, but let's have a proper look at what that is and how to use it. Use when part or multiple parts have operations on both the front and the back of the part. For instance, this partition. It has different drilling on both sides, one for some drawer runners and the other for some hinges and shelves. In this process, the machine will run one file, which we call the A program, and it will do some of the operations on the first side of the sheet. You can see here my A program will drill the holes for my drawers. After this, it will perform what we call the trim cut. This will square up two sides of the sheet, which we can push up against our machine stops when we flip it. Once the A program is finished, we'll take our sheet, we'll flip it over so that the two sides that were trimmed now sit against the pins. And then we'll run what's called the Z program. This file will then do the remaining operations and cut the parts out, and our parts will be completed. To turn 6-phase nesting on and off, you'll need to first access your machine catalog again. We select the machine button from our ribbon bar, as if we were going back to our output settings. However, this time, we'll check that we are using the correct machine, and then select the Output tab from here. Just below this tab, we can see a small drop-down menu. This menu will let us filter the questions below to make finding what we need a little bit easier. We'll go ahead and select Nesting. Towards the bottom of this page, you'll see a small section called 6-phase. There are two options here. The first option tells S2M Center if we want to generate 6-phase programs or not. You can switch this on and off as you wish. Remember, if this is switched to true, S2M will generate a flip program, even if only one part has a small operation on the back. So if you want to avoid flipping sheets, turn this off and just switch it on when you want to use that double-sided drilling. So if you want to avoid flipping sheets, turn this off and just switch it on when you need to do things like doors or a lot of partitions with double-sided drilling. The second option is which edges you want the trim cut to follow. This is based on the pins on your machine. You'll see as I click on these options, the 4 pictures on the side will light up, with a red line showing which edge it will trim. The short side of the trim cut will need to be on the same side as your pop-up pins on the machine. So if your pins are on the left of the machine, you'll want to select either 0 or 270. If they're on the right, you'll want 90 or 180. To decide which of these two options you'll then need, you need to make sure that the long edge of the trim cut is opposite to the pins along the long edge of your machine. So if your pins are at the back and on the left, we'll choose 270. If you're unsure of which option to pick, make sure you get in touch with one of the Planet team to make sure they can help you through this process. It is worth mentioning if your machine uses fixed pins, this is unlikely you will have too much success with 6-phase nesting, as the trim cut needs to clean up the edge of the board. With fixed pins, you may have trouble doing this without hitting those pins with the router. So now that we've done our 6-phase nesting, it's time to move to our outline cuts. In that lesson, we'll take a look at how we can deal with our small parts, making sure that they're not moving around on the machine when they're cut out.